Hi, it's Rick again with Coldwell Banker. I'm here with Wade Betts, my favorite loan officer in the entire Western world. We wanted to talk to you about some of the most common first-time homebuyer mistakes. And one of them is, of course, people, they use the internet, and it's an amazing device, of course, and it's created a lot of knowledge for people, but there's a lot of bad information out there.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I hear pretty regularly by first-time home buyers is that I want a first-time home buyer loan. So essentially that's code for a down payment assistance loan, DPA. So if you Google down payment assistance, there are literally thousands of programs across the country. Some are national, some are state specific, some are down to the county, city level. It's very, very niche-y. Now, you might think that you want a first-time home buyer loan, but the reality, what you need is a first-time home buyer consultation, because those types of programs may or may not be in your best interest. So just realize that it's not free money. So down payment assistance programs are really good to help bridge the gap between the funds that you have and the funds that you need, but it comes at the expense of a much higher interest rate typically. So there is a trade-off. Some of them are grants, other ones are what's called silent second liens, which are forgivable after a certain amount of time. So it's very important that you know what you're signing up for if you go the down payment assistance route. But if it can be avoided, it's usually best to avoid that, okay? So it's very important that you chat with a professional so that we can lay out a game plan for you to accomplish your goals, and that may or may not include a down payment assistance program.
I tell people it's a great thing, but as you say, there's nothing free in the world, and it's a tool. It may not be the best tool that's right for you and your family. So we should sit down and talk about it. That's one of the most common mistakes. Other ones where people are, I had a client, they've been homeowners now for 4 years, but it was one of the most, very sharp guy. The husband and wife, both professionals, sharp people. He called me up and he wanted to rent a home. I work with a lot of investors, and he wanted to rent one of my homes I had listed. And we started talking on the telephone. I said, "Why are you still renting, sir?" He said, "Well, I didn't want to pay PMI, private mortgage insurance. If you put down less than 20%, you're generally going to have PMI on the mortgage." And he had read on the internet that was bad. And we see that all the time when people have this preconceived notion about it's evil and it's to be avoided at all costs. Well, he's in his home in the last 4 years. His net worth is up about $300,000, and he started with a small down payment, first-time home buyer, and then he refinanced as the equity continued, and he got out of that. Eric is the one we're talking about, but it's just it's great information on the internet, but it may or may not be the best application for you. You've seen other cases like this.
Yeah, certainly. So PMI is one example. A lot of people, like a large section of the U.S. population, believes that you still have to put 20% down to buy a home. And that is absolutely not the case. But we need to have these conversations so that we can build a roadmap for success for you. So it doesn't have to be right now, but what does yes look like? Let us visit, let us help you build that roadmap so that when the time is right for you and your family, we can help you accomplish your goals. All right, so some other mistakes that we see have to do with wanting to possibly skip home inspections sometimes.
Never.
I would never, ever, is that enough evers? I would never recommend that you skip a home inspection. But when the housing market is hot and you're having to make concessions to get your property under contract, there's some things that go out the window. I would really caution you from doing that.
But as we sit here in November of 22, it's a totally different market because, again, of just inventory from where we were 6 months ago. 6 months ago, people were begging people to sell them the home. I'll give you 50,000 over, 75,000 over. Now, it's inventory levels have come back up, and we're still, by the way, don't believe what's on the media, we're still not in a buyer's market. It's balancing out, but we are definitely not in a buyer's market.
That's true. So some other things that I see is using the builder's lender or not using a realtor to represent you on new construction. So if you're out there touring model homes and you get a whim and put your name on a contract one weekend and you don't put Rick's name on that contract, you are not represented on that transaction. And if you end up using the builder's in-house lender, you've got no one in your corner as well protecting your best interest. So now the builder's lender is going to try to throw incentives at you to use them. 9 times out of 10, that is smoke and mirrors. Happy to visit and shoot you straight about what is and is not reality with that. But you must put Rick's name on that contract because he will have your best interest in heart. If you miss that window, you will be unrepresented.
One of the things that's part of I have a license. My license requires that I have a fiduciary duty for the client. Fiduciary means I have to treat your money like my money or like my wife's money. But that's a license requirement and I should lose my license if I don't do that. I aggressively protect clients' interests and I educate them that walking into the builder without representation is like going to court without an attorney, and most people think that's not a good idea. So I'll just give you an example now. In November of 22, there's a lot of builders that have put a lot of inventory because of the strength of the market. They're getting very, very negotiable, and I just sent the contract out. It's been signed by the builder, a very, very high quality builder. Home was listed for $750. It executed at $680, and they're giving my buyer $30,000 cash back to pay for their closing costs and to buy down their interest rates. And by the way, the $30,000 was not advertised by the builder. So it's all in who you know. Coldwell Banker, we have a saying, who you work with, it matters. So what are some of the other mistakes?
So people going directly to their bank is another mistake that I see pretty regularly. They think that just because they have their checking or savings accounts there, that it will be convenient. Mortgage lenders have to treat clients exactly the same, regardless of whether you're a current client or not. And again, 9 times out of 10, the bank or credit union or whomever, they're not going to have the best terms. So it's important for you to review the recommendations of your trusted realtor as to who might be the best fit for you. So as a mortgage broker with access to over 180 different lenders, we can absolutely shop for the better terms for you. Are we always going to be the cheapest? No, is the reality of it.
And he'll tell you.
Right. But the fact is, just be transparent with us, we'll be transparent with you, and at the end of the day, your family will come out way ahead. But don't just assume that the bank has the best pricing. That is rarely the case. Sometimes, but not always.
You know, a long, long time ago, I used to have my insurance with Geico, and before that it was Allstate. And I thought, well, it's, you know, you buy the advertising. Well, they have one product to offer you. Now I'm with an insurance broker, and she has something like 100 different insurance companies, and they offer different programs and they offer different incentives, and some of them are going to be more aggressive in pricing than the other. And that's the beauty of using a top flight mortgage broker like Wade Betts.
It's high praise.
You owe me $20.
And
What are some of the other mistakes?
one of the biggest mistakes that I'll end on here is choosing the wrong team. Okay, so you have to have the right representation. You've got to have the most knowledgeable, aggressive, best negotiating realtor in your corner, and you've got to have a lender at the same time that can shop the best terms for you, proactively communicate, and then help you after closing become a successful homeowner. It's not enough for us to just get you to the closing table. We have to make sure your retirement is better off with us than without us. That's why you would use us.
The relationship actually starts at the closing table.
For sure.
So,
For sure.
thanks for your time.
Appreciate you. Hope to hear from you soon.